Hi everyone, this is Heather Lottinen from the Flourish.Academy. This is episode 510. And I don't know what this is like on other cameras, but I know on the D750, it is very easy to accidentally change the quality setting. So I was photographing a wedding, this is a couple of years ago, and I was photographing the father-daughter dance at the reception, and I happened to look down and I noticed that my camera was on JPEG, and I was like, what? I always shoot in RAW. And then I panicked because I thought, how long has it been in JPEG? I didn't realize that I had pressed the button, turned a dial, and I didn't know what JPEG I was shooting in, meaning was I in low quality? Was I in high quality? Oh my gosh, my heart just dropped. So I quickly put it back into RAW, finished shooting the first dance, sat down and started to go through my photos to see when I had accidentally made that change, and thankfully realized that I had only done it just moments prior. So everything, the entire wedding had been shot in RAW. Just a few frames had been shot in JPEG. And this came up in the Flourish Academy membership group yesterday because it happened to a friend of mine. It's happened to me. I mean, I can explain to you why it happens. What I can't do is explain to you how to prevent it from happening. So in the back of the D750, we have this quality button, and right above it, right here's the quality button. Right below it is the ISO button. So I use the ISO button all the time because I change my ISO. Now, if you're shooting in auto ISO and you are not changing your ISO on the D750, this probably has never happened to you, but it's very easy to accidentally press the quality button instead of the ISO button, and you're in a hurry and you're not looking, and you press that button, and when you do, you move your back command dial or your front command dial, whichever one, because it does different things. The back command dial changes it from RAW to JPEG fine, JPEG normal, JPEG basic, RAW plus fine, RAW plus normal, RAW plus basic. That's the back command dial. So I'm holding the quality back command dial with my thumb. The front command dial only comes into play when you're shooting JPEG. So if I put this on large fine JPEG and I move my front command dial, that changes it from large, medium, and small. So if you're shooting JPEG, obviously you want to be in fine and large. That's the best quality JPEG. But if I press my ISO button, I change my ISO with my back command dial. So what happened to me was I pressed the quality button instead of the ISO button, used my back command dial to change what I thought was the ISO, wasn't looking, and I ended up putting it, I went one click to the right, which is what I did, put me on large fine JPEG. So even then it wouldn't have been the end of the world if I was shooting JPEG because it was the best quality. But if you took a couple of clicks a different direction, you might put yourself in like normal or basic JPEG, which could potentially be an issue. So, okay, that's why it happens. You press the wrong button. I've pressed the wrong button. You're moving very quickly. Things are moving very quickly. I'm sure that when I did that, I thought I was pressing ISO. I used the back command dial, realized I wasn't pressing ISO, pressed ISO, changed it, but didn't realize in the meantime that I had switched my quality. How do you prevent it? Sorry, you can't, except pay attention. I mean, there's no way to lock that. And if you shoot in auto ISO, as I said a moment ago, and you do not change your ISO when you're shooting, then that wouldn't happen to you because you wouldn't be pressing that button on the back of the camera. This is on the D750. I haven't had this happen on my Fuji because it's a different combination of buttons and where they're located. It's unfortunate that you can't lock that somehow, but it is the way it is. So pay attention or shoot auto ISO. I'm always, when I'm at weddings, I'm always looking down at the top of my camera to make sure everything looks good. Thankfully, I have a regular habit of doing that. So when I had noticed that it wasn't RAW, I was like, and I hurried up and changed it. You know what I think alerted me to it? My camera all of a sudden said, that I had like 999 photos available on my card. And I was like, wait a minute ago, I had 200 photos available because I was shooting raw. And then it jumped to 1,000 plus. Whoa, something is wrong. Carrie just commented, I did this recently and somehow messed with my bracketing. Yeah, it's just we're in a hurry and now it's a little bit harder to accidentally change your bracketing because it's a button on the side of the camera. You have to press that button and do a command dial. But I suppose if you were messing around, another common thing I talked about in a very recent video is accidentally switching from autofocus to manual focus and not realizing it. So there's a couple of warnings here with a D750. I'd love to hear from people who shoot Canon, Sony. I shoot Fuji. I haven't had these issues. I am quite certain that there isn't a camera that is perfectly ergonomically correct so that things like this don't happen. But there's a couple things on this D750 that I'm like, it's pretty important if you can't focus your photo. And it's pretty important that you have your camera in the correct quality setting. So I hope that you found this useful. I'll see you in the next video.